Welcome back to Fearful Symmetries. This is, I think, the fifth session of our game of Steve Dempsey's great Trail of Cthulhu campaign, Fearful Symmetries. My name is Shane. I use they, them pronouns. This game was organized through the Open Hearth gaming calendar. If you want to play with the Open Hearth or find out more, you can check out openhearthgaming.com. But let's get into it. I will start by getting the players to introduce themselves and their characters. Let's just go left to right across the keeper. Jose couldn't be here today, so we'll just start with Stephen and Owen.
Yeah, hey there. I am Steven, he, they. I am playing Owen, he, him, our Communist Union organizer, violent steward. I've been roped into some nonsense scheme of Jack, and we'll see how that goes.
Great. Thank you. T.
Yeah, I'm T, she, her, and I am playing George Bennett, also she, her, the researcher, academic, who I think at the moment feels a little bit like she's the only one taking this group project seriously since no one else has been doing research. What are you talking about? Uh, and is currently slated to attend the seance of Polly Folger. In her day, she has debunked many a spiritualist, but suspects that this may be more of a confrontation amongst musicians than a debunking. We shall
Interesting.
see.
Thank you. And Pocket.
Hey there, my name is Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Jack Taylor, a biracial blues musician who fled the United States under mysterious, possibly occult, possibly romantic, probably romantic, but possibly occult circumstances to, well, get to some place where no one knows him and people might lend him money again. And George, come on. You know how group projects go. One person always does all the work.
That has been her experience, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't understand why this is new to you. I don't understand why you're frustrated by this. This is just status quo situation normal. Side
yeah.
note, I've had a lot of coffee today. Sorry.
Um, well, it certainly seems like Jack is going to be doing some work today, or at least cajoling Owen into doing some work for him. So George won't be the only one. Um, Before we get started, I just wanted to mention a mechanical thing. Um, just because we haven't used it yet, and I wanted to make sure that you all know it's an option. Um, that is mystical vision. You can find details in the magic section of the rules tab, but basically it just means that you can make a will test to see magic or magical things that would otherwise be invisible. I'm not telling you this, I'm not telling you you need to use this, but it did cross my mind that this could be useful to some of you today, and just wanted you to know that that's an option if you want to use it. Um, I am inclined to get started by cutting to Owen and Jack arriving in Mardale and George arriving at the seance. But before I do that, I just wanted to check, is there anything that any of you want to do before we get to those scenes? Maybe I'll ask George first.
I actually have a question for you, Shane.
Mhm.
So during our session zero, we decided as a group that the Winchester Covenant holds that through magic, a practitioner must not hurt other magicians. A, how have we learned about this? I'm assuming we know. And B, that does say through magic. It does not say through, for example,
Violence.
swords.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Um, how you've learned about this? I mean, it must be that Lizzie Weiberg explained it to you, told you all about the covenant. Um, and yes, we did decide that you're not allowed to use, according to the rules of this covenant, not allowed to use magic to hurt other magicians. But you are quite correct that it doesn't seem to prevent you from using physical violence of any kind. Does,
Helpful.
that's great.
Uh, I do think George is worried about Lizzie. Um, because just as a reminder, last time we were supposed to meet her, but she said she'd been indefinitely detained, or her servant did. Um, And we know that she was supposed to have been attacked, kidnapped at the Messingbird's estate. Um, I suppose, I don't know, the next point where we all run into each other, she's gonna ask if you've had any news. Um, and of course, we do all have spirit guides that we could ask, and if no one has, then perhaps that will be her next to do.
Um, just for clarity,
Oh,
there
yes,
was
please.
a letter signed by Lizzie Weiberg that the servant gave to you, and
Mhm.
a letter said that she had to leave unexpectedly and wasn't sure how long she'd be gone. Indefinitely detained sounded a little harsher than maybe the text,
Yeah, it's
although you're
fair.
certainly not unreasonable to be worried, but just wanted to clarify that. Um, all right. So interested in exploring that later, but still happy to just get us started at the seance.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And I just want to ask Owen and Jack the same thing. Are you happy to cut to arrival in Mardale, or is there anything that you wanted to do before you head out there?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think there was one scene I had called last time
Hmm.
that maybe I forget if we got to or not, which was like I had wanted to ask around some of my contacts about what was going on over in
Birmingham.
what
Yeah,
was the city? Yeah,
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Um, yeah, I reckon let's hold that for now, and we'll
Yeah, yeah.
do the Mardale
I just
stuff.
wanted
And
to put it
yeah,
out there.
sure. All right. Puckett, is there anything that Jack wants to do? I mean, apart from the obvious, anything that Jack wants to do before you get going?
Um, there's nothing that I can particularly think of, although I'm sure Jack is going to make promises to help Owen with organizing and writing labor marches and anthems and such on guitar and a whole bunch of stuff like that on the boat ride. And is it Mardale or Margate?
Sorry, I think I said Margate last time, and that was my mistake. It's actually Mardale.
Okay. Um, I will correct that in my notes.
Um,
But yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start with George, but just before I do that, I might flag that Owen and Jack both have points in Streetwise, at least 1 point each. If you're
Mhm.
interested, you're trying to find this guy, Tobias George. For a 1 point spend, I'll let you have, a pre-estab, let you know him personally, if that's something that you're interested in, and let you sort of define the nature of the relationship. You can think about that for a minute. I'm just going to get to the seance with George first. Um, so George, you uh, Polly has set herself up in a patron's home, private home, where she's carrying out these seances. Um, there's only two, I don't know what you call it, two customers for the seance tonight, yourself, and a woman named, well, I guess a middle-aged woman, a bit older than you. Um, you're left waiting together in the sort of entrance area while the seance is being readied. You're greeted there by Milo Folger, who is the medium's brother, um, quite well dressed, but obviously also, a sort of big tough guy who's there as well to protect Polly if she needs it. I think Nellie will, after maybe if there's awkward silence or anything, she'll eventually turn to you and say, Uh, it's a sensitive topic, I suppose, but what brings you here?
Well, uh, I think George's eyes sort of flick towards Milo and says, "Well, I've heard a lot about Madame Polly Folger lately, and interested to see what the truth is." George Bennett. She holds out a hand.
She'll hold it, she'll shake your hand. Nellie Turner. My husband passed recently. I miss him so. Um,
My condolences.
thank you. Um, I can only assume I should offer my condolences to you as well.
I'm happy to accept your well wishes in the spirit that they're given. And she smiles tightly.
All right. So Nellie is not totally thrilled with the way this conversation has gone, but before too long, you're both ushered into the room, which is very much like other spiritualists, other mediums, sort of, stage areas that you've seen before. It immediately strikes you as sort of theatrical and absurd. There's dark velvet tablecloths, there's candles, there's a Ouija board. Uh, the room is sort of dark and spooky. Polly is sitting at the far side of, well, the woman you assume is Polly is sitting at the far side of the table with a veil over her face, um, looking uh, sort of stereotypically spooky. Uh, she invites you both in to sit down at the chairs that are set out around the table. And she starts by thanking you both for coming tonight. She says that she can't promise that any spirits will arrive. She can only uh, call for any spirits that might want to speak to you. Uh, and she'll do her best to, translate any messages that the spirits may have for you both. George, do you have any points in assess honesty? I see that you do. So
Yes.
you can definitely tell that she's lying. Everything that she says is a lie. Um,
Mm.
and she will ask Milo to wait in the front room, and he closes the door, and the three of you are left in there alone. Um, she has all three of you hold hands, and it begins again like many of the fake seances that you've seen in the past. There's the table shakes in ways that you know how they do these things. There's some movement of the planchette on the Ouija board that again is manifestly fake to you, but eventually, Polly announces that a man named Colin Turner is here, that he wants to speak to Nellie. And you feel Nellie's hands sort of tighten in yours, um, maybe grow a little colder. Um, and Polly, you don't hear the voice of the spirit directly, but Nellie says, sorry, Polly says, uh, I'm terribly sorry, Nellie. Uh, the spirit says it is your husband. Uh, I know that this will be painful to hear, but he wants me to tell you that he hates you, that he grew to hate you slowly over the course of your marriage, that he hated your timidity. Uh, and the account that she gives of how and why Colin hated her just goes more and more specific, including anatomically precise details about how much he disliked the way they had sex. And
Mm.
throughout this, I mean, unless you interrupt, Nellie is just going to grow sort of increasingly pained. You're going to hear her uncomfortable groans and sobs, um, and eventually uh, jump up from the table, run, throw open the door, and leave. And Polly says to, sort of catching her breath a little after this quite intense performance. Um, I'm sorry that you had to witness that, but there's another spirit here who wishes to speak to you. Would you hear what it has to say?
Can George sense her own spirit guide in the room?
Yeah.
Uh, and when she was talking for Colin,
Hmm.
obviously Polly was lying earlier. Did it seem as if she were lying then?
Yes, you think she was still lying, but also it was clear from Nellie's reaction that whatever she was saying, the details were
Mhm.
true.
Yes. Dirty coffee filter. Uh, And I think George will, I guess Polly's face is veiled, look towards her face and smile humorously and say, I'd be interested to hear what you think you should tell me.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that, but let's pick up with Owen and Jack arriving in Mardale. So the directions that you've got are pretty vague. You're looking for this guy, Tobias George. You've been told that he's in a shack on an island on the Mardale Dam, and that the shack is mystically guarded in some way that makes it harder to find. You've had plenty
You
of
mentioned
time.
appointment streetwise.
Oh yeah, is it you telling me that Jack knows Tobias?
Would spending a appointment streetwise get me to know where this shack is?
No, the location of the shack is not well known.
Okay. Um, do I really want to waste a point of streetwise on somebody that may not even be alive by the end of the next hour?
Yeah, it's a situation where knowing him might actually make this worse.
Okay, no
Ooh,
obligation. If you don't know him,
when
you
you
don't
put it
know
like that, yeah, I do know him.
him. All right. Well, tell me, you don't have to be like best friends or anything, but like, what is your
Oh
relationship
no,
with him?
we're not. This guy, he's a scumbag.
Hmm.
I mean, I have kind of become acquainted with some citizens who perhaps engage in some forms of work that are frowned upon. And
Owen cocks his eyebrow at you when you say he's a scumbag.
and I look back at you and it's like, yeah, if I'm saying this, you know this dude is bad, right? Right, Owen? Right? Like, dude's
Oh,
bad,
is that
right?
how it works?
I mean, I'm under no illusions about how most people view me. I mean, I'm a blues musician. I probably get less respect here, maybe more. I don't even know. But I know that I am frequently in the gutter looking up at the stars, as I think I heard somebody say uh, once, maybe twice. But this guy, he uh, he preys on the weak and the vulnerable. There's a lot of things that I do, but I don't steal from people who don't have anything. I steal from people who can afford it, who can lose stuff and not even notice it's gone. This guy, if this guy were to meet a swift and sudden demise, perhaps at, say, the hands of a fist, uh, he would be a missing person that no one would miss.
Well, before we devote ourselves to murder, how about we see if we can get this book through
Understood?
other forms of violence. I'd prefer not to have another life on my conscience.
Hey, I completely understand. I'm just saying it wouldn't really be like an entire life on your conscience, but just a fraction of one. Like, I don't know, 30% of a life, maybe. Like, you'd probably feel better about him meeting his end than you would with other people who have met their end at your hands. That's all I'm saying. It's just like you'd be doing kind of a public good.
All right. So around this time, you've pulled into Mardale, and there's found your way to the sort of dock on the edge. I don't know if dock is the right word on the dam, but there's a jetty or a pier or something like that with some boats around it. There's a gate in front of the jetty, and it's got a sign on it that says, access limited to Mardale Dam Authority employees, do not enter. Um, and you can see there's a couple of people out on the jetty um, doing work around the boats that are docked there.
Actually, I never asked how like in terms of like size of this dam, like how big of a dam is it? Is this like one of the smaller like locks you or some smaller like water smaller dams that you tend to see all across? Or is it like this a larger like electrical dam or something like that?
It's a large dam. It's swallowed up what was once a decent sized village.
Okay. I was just curious.
Sure. The valley used to have a hamlet at its head called Mardale Green, but this village was submerged in the 1930s when the water level of the valley's lake was raised to form Hawkswater Reservoir by the Manchester Corporation. That's from Wikipedia.
Okay.
And certainly, from where you are, you can't see any island or shack.
So did you have a plan for finding his home, Jack, or were we to
Please, like I'm going to let us wander around here in this godforsaken place without an idea of what to do.
I cocked
Owen,
my eyebrow at him again because honestly that was Owen's expectation of Jack's plan.
I would like to use mystical vision here.
All right. So that's just going to be a will test.
Okay. And I have, what's my will? Um, did we reset our, do we reset our,
Not after the last session, but probably
oh,
after today's session, depending on exactly where
okay.
things wind up.
Well, I have to hit a 4, correct?
Yes.
All right. You know what? I'm just going to spend the rest of my will
All
to
right.
make sure that we do this.
Uh,
And let's see, where is, oh God, I got to open up the resources.
and just as a
Dice.
reminder, for when you're using magic and mystical vision will count, you can also substitute a point of magic for any 2 points of will.
Hmm, do I maybe want to do that? What's my magic at? No, I don't, because I have exactly 1 point in magic. So that is D6 plus 3. That is a 7.
All right. So, yeah, it comes into view. You see an island. It's not quite in the center of the dam, but it's not far from the center. Um, there's a boat. You can see that there's a boat tied up outside it, and it's surrounded by quite a bit of plant life that you weren't able to see before you engaged your mystic vision. It looks like there's some kind of seabirds flying around in that area as well. But again, they weren't there when you were looking with just your human senses.
You see, Owen, it's right over there, plain as day. Just need to, well, have some mind-altering substances to see it. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm seeing it anyway. Or maybe a hallucination. We'll figure it out when we get there. Chop
So,
chop. Let's go.
so how do you plan to get there?
Steal a
I
rowboat.
mean, I
Or there's
assumed
got to be a
that
boat.
Owen was rowing us out there.
And there's got to be a boat we can use, right? Like an
Um,
unattended rowboat or a boat that somebody wouldn't notice going missing for an hour or two. A boat that we can intimidate the person into letting us use for an hour or two.
do either of
Something.
you have any outdoors?
Do I have
Uh,
outdoors? I don't know. Don't
nope.
think so.
Owen is a city boy.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Um,
not obvious to
ooh,
you. There's none that you can see.
hold on.
Yep.
I do have American.
And how is that helping you find a rowboat?
Well, Americans, in case you don't know shit, are famous for our love of rowboats.
All I'm saying is that I have read the collected works of Mark Twain.
Hmm.
And if reading Huck Finn did not give me a crash course in
Okay,
rowboat stealing, I
sure.
don't know what will.
Okay, well, that I buy that. And what is striking to you is that no, there are no rowboats to steal. Why aren't there any rowboats to steal? Like it seems odd to you. Apart from the boats that are tied up at the jetty, there don't seem to be any boats anywhere within that you can see, apart from the one tied to the shack on the island. And it strikes you as a little unusual.
Hmm,
Let's see, is there anything? What can we use? Let's see. So this
it's probably mystically
attunement.
warded.
All right, maybe I'll go back to George for a bit, and you can think about,
Okay.
Yeah,
or talk,
sorry, I was
if
just
you,
looking at
that's
what
right.
abilities we had.
Yeah, take your time. It just seems like you maybe need a minute to think about what you'll do next. Feel free to do some planning in the chat if that's helpful between the two of you. Um, all right, George. So you've just told Polly to tell her what she has to say.
Hmm.
Um, Polly says, "Well, I believe your father is with me. He'd like to speak to you." Um, I don't know if we've established what George's father's name was. Um,
I don't think we have. Yeah, or her brother. They
yeah,
exist so far solely in their relationship to her.
yeah. Do you want to give your father a name?
Mm. How about Albert? That feels very English and of the time.
Great. All right. So yes, Polly tells you that Albert is here now. Um, he's she looks a little surprised to say this. Glad to see you. He misses you. Uh, he wishes that he was still with you so that he could give you some fatherly guidance to stop the appalling ways that you're wasting your gifts and talents. And Polly
Uh,
is, I'm sorry.
uh, George, I guess we're both holding hands, for,
Hmm.
seance reasons.
Yeah.
Um, does George feel like she's lying?
Yes.
Ugh. uh, uh, and I think,
Sorry,
uh,
let me rephrase that. She is the only thing she said that you don't think is lying is when she said she was sorry.
mhm.
There's a sincerity to that. Whereas you can't quite figure out the angle, but what she's telling you that your father says, that doesn't seem to be true.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think this shakes George a little bit. Um, and she sits back, but she doesn't let go because she's not gonna, she knows how these things are supposed to go. And when she writes her, scathing expose, later tonight, if that's what she does, she wants to make sure she at least, gave it an honest try, and says, I see. I don't suppose he has anything to say about the women.
Your father doesn't care what you do with your body. That was never his concern. Of course, it's a sin and a shame, but what's that to him now? But to reduce your academic work to this pathetic squabbling with frauds and nobodies. I mean, that was bad enough, he says, but now allowing yourself to be used by a magician who, I mean, what do you even know about Lizzie Weiberg, George? What do you know? Your father, he wishes that he'd raised you with more critical acumen, I suppose.
And I think George leans forward a little bit and says, "What do you know about Lizzie?"
I'm sorry, your father's spirit is fading now.
I
Uh,
wasn't asking him.
uh, I'm sorry, the spirit is gone. Me? She looks a
Mm-hmm.
little confused by the question. I don't. I think I've heard of her before. She's an occultist of some fame, is she not?
She is.
Polly's sort of breathing heavy now, like the as if the séance was, a difficult experience for her. I I don't know. What do you know of her?
I think at this point, if it's clear that Polly is no longer talking to Spirit, she'll release her hands and cross them over her chest and say, I don't know that that's particularly relevant. Perhaps wild hair. I came here to talk about you, Polly.
Not sure what you mean.
Hmm. I suppose what I'm asking is, why are you doing it?
It's a slightly nervous edge to her voice as she says, "Doing what?"
Twisting things.
Uh, I'm not sure what you mean. I
Yes, you
can
do.
only convey what the spirits tell me. Um, as you press her, she sort of looks around the room as if she's looking to see if someone is there.
Yeah, I would love to spend some glamour to have my spirit guide do something.
Oh yeah, what is your spirit guide gonna do?
There's gotta be a bell on the sideboard, right?
Sure.
Can we ring that bell? Classic spiritualism shit.
Yeah, I think that's just a 1 point glamour spend. Um, Polly will flinch at that. Um, grab the bell, sort of hold it still to make sure it doesn't ring again. What is this?
I thought you were an accomplice spiritualist, Polly.
You've seen the evidence of my gifts.
I certainly have. I've seen the fraud and I've seen the photo negative of the truth. And I want to know why you're lying. Do you know you're lying? I think you do, but maybe you don't.
Um, do you have an ability to use here to compel her to tell you?
Uh, I think I'm gonna use bargain.
Oh,
Uh,
what will you offer her?
I don't know if the Winchester Covenant strictly covers psychological damage, but I can turn on the waterworks as well as the next fainting lass.
She says that she doesn't know what you mean, and she's telling the truth.
Huh. Uh, I think that George, hmm. Does George smoke? She does now.
Yeah,
George pulls out a packet of cigarettes and offers one to Polly and says, "Hmm?"
she'll take a cigarette. She'll lift her veil.
Uh, George lights it for her.
Very kind.
I try. Something here is true, but not all of it. And I don't know if you're complicit, and that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mm. Well, I think at that she's just going to say, "You're very perceptive, but perhaps not as insightful as you think. I think you should leave now." And she'll ring the bell quite loudly and call out for Milo.
And I think clearly dismissed, George stands and says, well, I suppose you can look forward to the expose.
Well, I don't know what you could possibly say. But I hope that
Uh,
we won't see each other again. I have not enjoyed our conversation.
uh, and George just smiles and I guess we'll bow very, very slightly because she doesn't have a tap to hit a hat to tip because she's inside and not a monster. And will make her way out.
Milo will usher you out and firmly close the door behind you. Uh, and I will come back to you, but let's find out what's happening up in Mardale. Um, did you decide
Yeah,
what you're going to do?
we
So
we had a couple thoughts. To clarify,
yeah,
when you say there are no rowboats, are there also like no non-rowboats?
So you can't see any boats apart from the ones at
Okay,
the
that's what
jetty
I
behind the
figured.
gate and the one that's tied to the island. It's possible that if you were to, circumnavigate the dam, you might find some on the far side, but as far as you can see, there just aren't any boats.
No, I think we should just swim, shouldn't we?
well, Owen, if we don't know that we can't do something, that's the same as knowing that we can, right?
It's going to be an athletics test to swim to the island.
I
Well,
know
I was
one of us
thinking more like
has athletics.
I was
No. Oh, I
thinking
guess
more
you have
along
a
the
little.
lines of walking on water to get over there.
Is there a way you can do that?
Uh, well, if we're understanding idiosyncratic magic,
Mhm.
Yeah, but even then, like idiosyncratic magic, you're allowed to use it after you fail a roll.
I mean, you can use it before if you want. It's just sort of a more
Oh, okay.
efficient use of the points if you wait until after you've failed, and do it in a sort of flashback manner. But there's no reason you can't use it in advance, I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
Um,
well, in that case, I'll start walking on water because magic lets us do these things, right? Why the
uh,
hell are we
So,
using?
so,
Are we learning magic if we can't?
so I
so hang on. Here's the thing. You need to explain the oddball theory by which it works and include a necessary condition for the effect to do work. Something the character must have to have or do. Gestures, magic words, etc. are insufficient.
So
Um, so
my
sorry, and
crackpot theory.
yeah,
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, no, go ahead with the crackpot theory first, and then we'll talk about the mechanics.
So,
So,
like this one here says, the example is that before going into the store, her character put ice in her shoes to break her connection with the earth and hide her from watchful eyes.
well, and my thinking here is, first of all, magic means we get to tinker with the world around us. It means we can do things that others can't. Now, I am not aware of anything in any of the magical texts that I've looked at or been close to or sort of glanced at the cover of that says we can't walk on water. So that's as good as saying that we can't, correct? So my thinking here, my thinking is that I'm looking around this dam for scraps of, and as soon as I find some wood, I'm going to take my shoes off, put it in my shoes, and say, see, wood floats. I can walk on it. It doesn't matter that the wood is moving with my foot. I'm basically making something that's as good as a bridge to the island.
Hmm. Okay, I like this theory, but I want it to be a little bit creepier and more dangerous. So I'm inclined to think that like the effect that you're creating has something to do with the spirit in the wood that grows in the waters of the dam. That it's not just any wood, but specifically the power the spirit of the wood that has grown that has grown in or around this water. The drowned wood is
Mm,
good.
okay.
Um, Now, the mechanical side of this that I don't know that you're going to be so excited about is that to use idiosyncratic magic, first you have to make a successful will test, and then on a success, you can spend more will points as points in another general ability on a 2-to-1 basis. I think that at the moment you have 0 points in will. You can spend will under zero, but it's going to start feeling pretty bad.
Listen, I came here to have a bad time, all right?
All right. Um, so I mean, do you want to start by just making the athletics test with the athletics points you have, and then you can use the idiosyncratic magic to supplement it if necessary, or do you just want to flat
Oh,
out
might as well.
make, yeah, cool.
And I have 2 points in athletics.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I will burn both of those because, you know, luckily fighting is something completely different.
Mhm.
That's a
All right,
5.
so you succeed. Uh,
I
great.
succeed at walking on water or succeed at swimming.
I think you will succeed at swimming unless you tell me that you're going to make the will test anyway. But certainly you've set up that the wood is in your feet, in your shoes, and that you can use it later on if you need to get back from the island. Um,
Hmm. I'm looking at my zero will right now and thinking, do I want to burn it to get there? Or do I want to burn it on the way back when we may need to be escaping? And I think I'm going to hold on to it. I'm
Great.
actually going to display a little bit of forethought,
It's
just a
character
little bit.
growth. I like it. Owen, you want to make an athletics test?
Yeah, how hard is it? 4.
Just a 4, yeah.
Sure, I'll spend, oops, I spent it for my permanent. I'll spend 3 to
Cool.
guarantee it, and then let me see what I roll here. D6 plus 3.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I needed that. I rolled a 1.
Yeah. So you succeed. It's a tough swim, but you make it there okay. Um, let's see. So Jack, as you get closer, sort of the effect of your mystical vision doesn't last indefinitely. It'll last long enough for you to get there. Um, but as you get closer, you start to see that the island is surrounded by these sort of huge bobbing purple flowers, each with a bleached human face in the middle, mouths gaping and eyes palely blind. There are more eyes perched along the tops of reeds that surround the island, and what seemed from a distance to be seabirds are revealed closer up to be these kind of great kites of skin and flesh that fold themselves as they land and sink into the water. Um, oh, and you haven't used your mystical vision, so I think to this point, Jack is just directing you or you're following him. Is that right?
Yeah, I feel like I probably should use my mystical vision at this point.
All right.
I feel like if we're going on to a magic island, I feel like what's the thing I need to spend there?
Just a will test with difficulty four.
If I see
Okay.
you doing this, I'm going to say, Owen, you might
What?
not want to do that right now. There's might be better for your health if you don't. I can always dismiss what I'm seeing as the opium-addled visions of a degenerate. You, on the other hand, might have a harder time with that. So just word to the wise, you might wait a little bit.
I mean, it's up to you, Stephen. But as you get closer, you won't see the strange, horrifying foliage and fauna, but you will as you get close enough, like the island itself and the dock and
Okay, I
the
can see the island.
yeah,
Okay,
the shack will
in that
come into
case, yeah,
view.
I'll,
It's
yeah.
invisible from a distance, but close up, the illusion doesn't last. So,
Okay.
are you, climbing up onto the dock and then, walking up to the front door of the shack? Is that the plan?
Yeah, Jack does not know much about boats, but I think he checks to see uh if there's anything in particular like securing it to the dock before continuing up, just in case we need to get out of here quickly.
Yeah, the boat is tied to the
Okay,
dock.
just tied. Like there's just making sure there's not like, a padlock and chain attaching it to the dock.
Nah, I mean it just looks like a
Okay.
rope. Um,
Okay.
all right. So are you knocking on the front door? Is that what's happening?
Um, you know what? There's no reason to be uncivilized about this. I mean, we may kill him, but we can at least knock. We can show manners up to that point, right? Knocking, and besides, knocking is probably a terrible idea. So all the more reason to do it.
All right. Well, um, Tobias George answers the door just a moment after you knock. It's not a very big shack, so it wasn't far for him to come. He's not wearing a shirt. He looks a bit surprised that someone's knocking on his
My
door.
thing.
Um, he says, "Oh, Jack, last person I expected to see. Um, well, come in, I suppose."
Well,
Uh,
thank you for your hospitality.
um, and you step
This
into
is
the
my friend Owen.
Owen.
Yeah, we're both clearly very wet.
He's swimming in that water. Um, I suppose. Uh, well, I mean, don't sit on the bed. He doesn't want to get you getting his beds wet, and the two beds are really the only
I would not dream
furniture.
of sitting on your bed. I wouldn't want you to get the wrong idea.
Great. Um, so the only furniture in the shack is a small table and two single beds, one pushed against each wall. Um, there's a lot of empty bottles of different kinds of booze, food scraps, things like that. He's not keeping a very nice shack. Um, and there is a door that you can see flush against the back wall of the single room. I guess there's, uh, yeah. Um, Already you can both tell that that door has something bad behind it. There's just a feeling. Um, I think we might go back to George here. Well, actually, we're near the top of the hour, so maybe we'll take a 10-minute break here and we'll come back and pick
Okay,
up.
works for me.
Sounds good. Back at 10.
Great. Stephen, I heard what Puckett was reading at the moment. What are you reading at the moment? Maybe not all 12, but um, some highlights.
Oh, what am I reading? One of the things that books I've really liked is John Keene. Um, is his book Counter Narratives, which is a collection of short stories and novellas. Um, which are have been very interesting. Like they cover kind of a wide range. Like there's a piece that is written like I'm just thinking like there are a lot of pieces in here. A lot of them are like involve kind of encounters between actual texts and fiction and then fictitious narratives that Keene writes under like in the shadow of them. I've also been getting through the Quincunx novels of Andre Alexis, who's a Canadian writer. Um, my favorite one of that series so far is 15 Dogs, which I think is also the one that got the most attention. Have any of you heard of it?
No.
It
I don't think
is
I
a
have.
novel. Oh yeah, it's a novel about a group of like the gods Hermes and Apollo get into an argument about whether human intelligence is simply a source of suffering or not. Um, and the god Apollo says that if you give any animal human intelligence, then you simply doom them to suffer. And Hermes says that well, no, I bet that at least one will die happy if you give them intelligence. So they give 15 dogs in a veterinary clinic like the intelligence and language, and then it follows those dogs until each of them dies.
Sounds incredible. Can you post the name of the author in the Discord chat? So I won't lose it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Um, all right. So let's get back to Oxford. Um, George, were you gonna go meet with Carrie after the seance, or is there some other plans that you have? Like, what are you doing?
Oh, she was actually going to ask her guide to help her find Nellie, presumably Nellie Turner.
Yeah, right. Um, I'm sure you can do that. Difficulty depends on the specificity and obscurity of the person sought. So presumably you can probably assume that Nellie's in Oxford, not too far away, but she's quite specific. It's an individual. So I
Mhm.
think maybe that's a difficulty 6 glamour test.
All right. I
Um,
will.
and you'll need to spend 1 extra point of glamour just for them to communicate it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to spend that right off the bat, regardless of how it goes. Uh, and I'll spend 3. I think George feels pretty guilty. That's a 6.
Yep. Okay. So your spirit guide doesn't take very long and is able to direct you to uh, an address in a sort of, unremarkable middle class neighborhood in Oxford, where Nellie is currently.
Um, yeah, and I think George will take her hat off and knock.
So it'll take a couple of minutes for Nellie to come to the door, and when she does, you can see that she's been crying and looks quite surprised to see you. Oh. Miss uh,
Bennett.
Bennett, uh, uh, did you want to come in?
I would probably be more comfortable to talk inside, yes.
Um, so she'll invite you in. She's sorry she wasn't expecting company, etc. I think if you didn't have a point in middle class, she probably wouldn't let you in, but she, sees you as someone she can trust. Um, do you want a drink, some tea? Are you okay? Did that awful woman, what did they say to you?
Um, I'm happy to tell you, but I suppose I wasn't really untruthful with you, but I did rather lie to my true purpose in attending. I'm a debunker of spiritualists.
Uh, all right. Uh,
Uh,
are you saying that what happened tonight wasn't real?
I am saying that it is my genuine belief that the spirit of your husband did not say those things to you, and Polly Folger is a fraud and was lying. Yes.
No, it pains me to say, but no one but my husband could have known those things, the things that she said.
Ah, are you, oh, hmm. So this is a character decision for George, because we are, again, going back to our sort of setting thing, we cannot tell people directly who, non-magicians who wield magic power.
I mean, you can also do
Um,
this thing called breaking the rules, but
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think that my reading of that is that it says the identities of fellow magicians can only be discussed with fellow initiates. I think maybe we
hmm,
even discussed this in session 0. I have half a recollection that it doesn't prevent you from identifying yourself as a magician.
hmm. Yeah, and George believes in the truth at any cost. And so I think she will sit, and she will say, I believe that Madame Folger, as she styles herself, was in communication with the spirit of your husband, but I believe she was lying about what he was saying.
Why would she do that?
That was what I was hoping to discover. And I'm not sure, but it may have been merely because it hurt you to cause pain.
Well, it certainly did that. Uh, How could you know this?
Uh, and I think George looks around the parlor um, and says, if my guide could give me a one wrap, that's traditional. No, let's make it two.
So for 1 point of glamour, your spirit guide will knock twice. Um, Nellie will look shocked.
Uh, and of course, this could also be faked. Wooden souls are one method, but It was a lot simpler debunking spiritualists before I came one for real.
Well, can can you speak to my husband?
Uh, and I think George looks pained and says, I'm not, I didn't say I was a good one.
Nellie is a little crestfallen at that.
If you have a question that my guide might know, perhaps. I'm sorry.
Not a question. I just miss him so much.
I believe he probably misses you as well. If you merely take Madame Folger's words and invert them. And George can't quite bring herself to smile.
Well, I mean, if what you're saying is true, if she's distorting the words of the dead just to cause pain, something has to be done.
Well, I mean, she is also using the cheap tricks of the trade. Uh, George pulls out her notebook and sort of like ruffles through it, and you know, uh, shares her notes about how she felt the sticks that she was using under the table to shift it without anyone noticing, and the other cheap trickeries that Polly was using, and says, "I will." As I said, I've made something of a reputation as a debunker of spiritualists, and hopefully, this will be enough to at least dam the tide of querents coming to Madame Folger's door.
Nellie nods at that. It seems that was at least some comfort to her. Um, I think we might end the scene there, unless there's more that you wanted to get out of it.
No, I don't think so.
All right. So back in Mardale, Tobias has ushered you both in. He says, "Jack, you're the last person I expected to see here. How did you find me?"
Oh, as one does.
Yeah, right.
I,
Well, forget how. Why did you find me?
well, Tobias, you've made several errors recently, and I'm here to offer you an opportunity to correct those errors.
Yeah, you've always been generous like that. He's eyeing Owen very nervously as he talks to you.
Oh, Owen's just here as a good faith gesture.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is that what I am?
Um, well, at the moment, yes. We can talk about your duties as a violencer later. So, Tobias, I'm going to say a name, and don't even don't insult my intelligence by pretending you don't recognize it. You have gotten under the skin of a certain Mr. Sabini.
Fuck yeah, I have.
Yes, well,
You
about that.
working for Sabini now? It's a step up in the world for you.
I wouldn't so much say working for him as outside help.
Sure, sure. Yeah, Mr. Sabini loves that. He's real easygoing with who works for him and who doesn't.
So terribly sorry, I have to impose. I need that Atlas of Hell.
Um, I mean, I sure don't know how you think you're going to take it. And you have upon him assess honesty, so you know that he's telling the truth. He doesn't think you can take it.
And why would that be, Tobias? Is it soul bound to you? Is it, are you married to it? Have you formed some sort of partnership that can't be broken even upon death?
Hurts to touch. Hurts real bad.
I see. I see.
It's through that door right there, and he gestures to the door in the back of the shack. And he says, "But I really don't think you want to open it."
Tobias, I think you're right. So, given that it's your house and I'm a guest here, I will, of course, ask that you open it.
I don't think you
I'm
want
not
that
the
either.
person to go prying around in someone else's abode.
Man. He looks at Owen. He says, "Do I go to do what he says? You're going to regret this too."
I sigh and look around. Is there a poker or axe or something on hand?
I think probably the nearest thing to that is like there's empty bottles everywhere. You could use those as a weapon if that's the sort of thing that you're
Hmm,
looking for.
that seems insufficient.
You need a bludgeon.
No, something so I'm not unarmed.
Well, we could break the legs off of this table. I mean, of
I
course they'll
suppose we
shatter if
haven't
you have to
really.
use them.
I probably have a knife. I'll pull out a knife.
Mhm. You don't need to threaten me no more. I'll
Oh,
do it if you tell
You
no,
me to
said
no,
do it.
that
he's just,
whatever is on the other side of this is dangerous, so
Okay.
Tobias, uh, I'm going to ask a question that I'm sure I will hate the answer to. Did you open a portal to hell behind that door?
Not me.
Did someone else? Is there a portal to hell behind that door?
He thinks about it. He says, I don't think so.
It sounds as though you are eager or willing, at least, to let us depart with this Atlas of Hell.
He just laughs outright. He says, You can't take it. I'm telling you, I'm not messing with you. I'm scared of you. I think that I'm going to get killed over this, but I don't think that you can take the Atlas out of here.
Listen, if Mr. Sabini has the Atlas, he's happy. Well, not happy exactly, but his business with you, as far as I know, is concluded. I don't think you'll be seeing Frida on your doorstep because, frankly, I don't think they could find your doorstep. And I'll just tell them that I managed to. I don't even know. I'll make something up, I'm sure. It'll sound good in the moment, and that's all that matters.
All right, look,
But if there's anything behind that door besides that book, just please tell us.
what
You
makes
know,
you think it's a book? There's no book.
a map. What exactly is this Atlas to Hell?
Um, Maybe I should just show you. And he takes a big swig from a whiskey bottle and he starts walking towards the door at the
Uh,
back.
Tobias,
Yeah.
uh, as a good host, do you mind if Owen and I also imbibe? Since it seems as though
Yeah.
it's
Drink up.
something that might, and I'll take a big long swig of it, more glugging actually, and then I'll hand it to Owen. It's like, you should probably finish the rest of this, Owen. I have a feeling that this is going to be unpleasant.
Man, it can't be any worse to listen to you flap your gums. And he will walk to the door at the back of the shack, sort of flinching as he does, and pull it open. And what you see is that it's a sort of small closet, and there's a stool in the closet, and sitting on the stool is a charred skull. There's a kind of oily smoke pouring from the eyes and the nose and the fissures. Black mold has grown all over the stool and is creeping up the walls of the closet, and time seems to somehow dislocate as he opens the door. Like suddenly the world's moving in these jerky stop motion lunges. The skull is, I mean, it's some sort of language is coming from it, but it's a language like breaking bones and molten rocks. Um, your eyes sting, and you can see that Tobias's eyes are bleeding from his proximity to it. You're both going to take 1 point of health damage from just the intensity of it. And you're both going to need to make a difficulty 4 composure test on seeing this thing.
And you said 1 point of health damage first off,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
All right, so that lowers my pool to 5. And then a composure test, you said.
Hmm.
I will spend 3.
Okay.
That's a 9 on my composure test.
Nice. So you're only going to take 1 point of will damage um, from seeing the skull.
So I also need to make a composure test, right?
Hmm.
Okay, I'll spend my 2. Okay. That's a 7.
All right. So um, you're going to take, so that's a success, but not a critical success. So you're going to take 2 points of will damage. Um,
In addition to the 1 point I already took, right?
so you took a point of health damage.
Oh, health.
Yeah,
Okay, never mind. Let me change that
that was
around then. Health.
the physical pain. Um, so Puckett, just to clarify, this is I think the first time anyone's had a negative will pull.
Uh-huh.
So between 0 and -6, you're shaken. You can't spend investigative points, and all general ability tests increase in difficulty by 1. Um, the Tobias slams the door shut again. His eyes are bleeding, but the bleeding is slowing now that the door's shut, and he's sort of wiping it away with his palm. He says, I tried to tell you. And he walks back over to, the table and grabs down another bottle of some sort of horrible rock gut spirit and takes a swig. Um, there's an awful bellowing noise from out on the dam, a huge sound, some sort of large animal, it sounds like. And he says, oh, yeah, also there's a hell beast on the dam. I guess I forgot to tell you that before. And I
A
think
what
we'll
now?
cut. He calls it a hell beast, but I think we're going to cut back to George here and let you think about what your next move will be. Um, George, what do you do after you leave Nellie's place?
Yeah. Um, puts on her hat. I think lights a fresh cigarette and it's an English city, by God, you can walk around it. So she is going to walk back to her office and
Mhm.
start writing that expose.
Well, when she gets back to her office, she'll find that the door is unlocked and ajar, and that the light is on inside.
And I think she would assume it's probably Carrie. So she's going to push open the door, saying, "Oh, Carrie, good, you're here. I looked into."
And you're stopped because it's not Carrie. Um, there are two tall, pale men, immaculately dressed. One of them is sitting at your desk. I imagine you have a typewriter there or something. Um,
Absolutely.
and he is typing away at it, um, and sort of narrating out loud what he's typing to the other one and saying, "And then the medium told me my daddy was terribly disappointed in me." And they both cackle with laughter. They don't seem to have noticed yet that you've opened the door. What do you do?
I think George is going to attempt to slip out before she is noticed.
All right. So that will be a stealth test.
Yeah. And I'm just going to spend one. That's a three.
All right. So I guess that means that you slip out, but not without being noticed. Um, and so as you close the door, and I mean, I assume the seance was at night, so it's pretty late now. There's nobody
Mhm.
else around where
Yep.
your office is. You hear the same voice calling out, "Oh, George, please come back. We wanted to talk so badly."
Hmm. It's her office. The door was
Mhm.
open. Was the lock forced or is the
The
door
lock
still
had
lockable?
the lock had not been forced.
Okay. Is there a chair in the hallway?
Sure. Oh,
Okay.
actually, make a
Does
preparedness test.
yeah. Oh, I would love to. Uh, and I'll spend two on this. I should just ask the real question instead of OSRing this.
Mm.
I would like to shove a chair under the door.
Yes. So that will be a preparedness test. I think
Uh,
we'll say it's difficulty four.
all right. That's a five.
All right, there's a chair. You can prop it against the door, and you can hear them banging against it from the inside, saying, "Oh, come on, George, this isn't sporting at all."
We can talk through the door perfectly well.
Hmm, but it's not as fun.
Speak for yourself.
Hmm. Oh, I should hardly speak for anyone else. Uh,
Really? You had the scent of an errand boy to me.
oh, she's so rude. Yeah. Well, I suppose we've come to ask well, to see if we can reach an agreement, because we would very much like that you not publicly claim that our servant, our Polly, is some sort of fraud. Uh, she amuses us so greatly, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Uh, and at hearing that Polly works for them, I think George is even more discomfited, but will attempt to keep her composure. I can make this as a role if you want, or it can just be roleplay. And she says, so is that what it's about? Your amusement?
Always. We could,
Uh, Go ahead.
I'm sure there's something that we could do for you in exchange. What would you want? What do you like?
You know what I like. The
Hmm.
truth.
You want to know about the children.
If she was a cat, her ears would have flicked up.
Um, and this time the same voice speaks from behind you. So somehow one of the men has left the office and is no longer trapped inside and is standing behind you. He says, he holds up a book and he says, "This is the diary of a magician who was very interested in the children. Everything he knew or could find about them is written down in this book."
Where is he now?
He's dead. I mean,
That
you humans are so fragile. It's a wonder to me that any of you remain alive.
uh, I think she licks her lips a little bit at that. Um, I George does have a point in folklore.
Hmm.
Uh, does she think that these might be the good neighbors?
Um, yeah, she definitely thinks that. Um, if you want to spend the point, you can be sure, but if you're happy with just suspecting, yeah.
I want to be sure. Truth at any cost, no
All
matter
right.
how many points.
All right. So yes, for a point of folklore, there's you've read descriptions of fairies just like this. Although, as you say, they don't like to be called fairies.
So I make myself a liar and I don't publish the expose I said I would, and you give me a book of a man who died, and I take it on your good word that the information is useful. And it what?
I did not say the information was useful. I said the information was everything this magician knew about the children. I won't lie to you, and I wouldn't
No,
make
you'll
you a
just give
liar
me
either.
just enough rope to hang myself with, huh?
I believe you have that already.
She does smile at that. Um, and if I go ahead and publish anyway?
He looks just unbelieving at the prospect that you might break a bargain with him. He says there are ancient penalties for those who would break a bargain struck in good faith.
Oh, no. Let me let me rephrase. If I don't take your bargain,
Hmm. Well, I suppose we would consider killing you, but I think the bargain is a much better deal all round. We could help you more. You could help us more. It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
uh, and I would, as a player, would like time to think. So could
Yeah,
we
yeah,
switch
sure.
the camera again?
Absolutely. Um, all right. So back in Mardale, you know what the Atlas looks like now. You know that there's a hell beast, or at least that Tobias says there's a hell beast on the dam. What do you do?
Bias, I require a bottle of your worst brown alcohol.
Yeah, grab a seat. Let's have a drink.
And I will sit down and pull out my deck of tarot cards.
Hmm.
Start idly shuffling through them, messing them around until one falls out.
Hmm.
It's the High Priestess. And I look at Owen and say, Owen, I have good news and bad news. Which would you prefer first?
Well,
Well, we can open with the bad news, since I expect that's the news I'll have to deal with.
Bad news is that we're going to experience hardship in the immediate future. Ah, good news is we will learn from it. So that suggests we survive.
I got some good news. You ain't touched the skull yet. It's only gonna get worse for you if you do. It's not too late to just get out of here.
Why exactly isn't it coming for you?
What do you mean coming for me? It doesn't move. Oh, you mean the hell beast?
Yes.
I like to think we're friends.
Friends.
I was nice to it when it looked more like a person.
I see. So it was at one point human.
I don't know if I would go so far as to say human, but it looked like a person when I got here.
Bias, do you have any good news for us?
Takes a deep breath and thinks about it. He says, well, if there's anything you need, you can ask the Atlas and it'll bring it to you. I mean, anything from hell.
I see. Think about it for a moment. Just, what are the costs of using the Atlas?
Well,
I mean, if it fetches things from hell, I assume there's some sort of bargain made there.
I mean, I haven't really paid any cost, I guess. I mean, my eyes bleed when I talk to it. It hurts. Can't
Hmm,
say I'm expecting to get to heaven at this point, but not wasn't really before.
let's see. Tobias, given how similar we are, it's a wonder that we aren't friends. But also, given how similar we are, I completely understand why neither of us would want to be friends with the other.
Yeah, well, I'd sure like for you both to get out of my house. So do what you got to do.
No? Okay. Do I need to use a certain language to talk to the Atlas, or just I can just say, hey, bring me this?
Yeah, you just talk to it. Just say what you want.
And how long does it take to deliver these things?
Hmm. I've only done it a couple of times, but it was quick. Minutes.
I see. Right. Owen, I'm going to do something foolish. I suspect there's perhaps a 50-50 chance of my survival.
I'm willing to place that bet.
Tobias laughs at that as well.
Bias, you say that the Atlas can retrieve things from hell. Can it put things in hell?
Well, I haven't asked it to do that. I don't know. The guy who told me about it, he didn't say nothing about putting things in hell.
And so,
And as he says that, you hear the sound of another boat pulling up at the dock outside the shack. And that'll be Johnny back. It's okay. Johnny's cool.
Johnny Beck?
Johnny back, like Johnny coming
Johnny?
back.
Uh, and who's Johnny?
Uh, well, he brought me one of the things from hell.
I see.
You can
Did
hear,
he bring
you can hear,
did
you
he
know,
bring you the
this.
Atlas or
No, the Atlas was here when I arrived. You can hear the sound of someone like tying up a boat and walking up to the front door.
right? Owen, I'll be back directly. Please do whatever you need to do in the meantime. And I'm going to get up, walk over to that
I take
closet
out a
door.
book of poetry and start reading it.
Nice.
I open the door, walk into the closet, and
Well, hang
close
on.
it.
Fucking hell. Um, okay. So Owen is going to take another point of health damage for the exposure to the skull just from the door being opened momentarily.
Sorry.
Um, the poetry, I think, is
Fine.
helps you enough that you won't need to make another will test. Um, we'll come to what happens to Jack in the closet in a second, but
Okay.
a moment later, this guy, opens the door and steps inside, presumably the Johnny that Tobias mentioned. And Tobias will introduce you. Johnny, this is Owen. Owen's come here with a friend, well, acquaintance of mine named Jack. Jack's in the closet. Well, was in the closet. I don't know how long it's going to last in there. Um, Johnny looks at you, Owen, says hello, and goes over to one of the beds and sits down. What do you do?
So have either of you read much Gertrude Stein?
Neither of them knows who that is.
Her writing's very peculiar. I'm not sure I like it yet.
Oh, yeah? You want to read us aloud while we wait for your friend?
Uh yeah, he'll like this is I think it will be very meaningless to them, but
Yeah, sure.
because it's Gertrude Stein.
hmm
Um uh I think I'm reading I think at this point Tender Buttons was out.
Nice. All right. Well, let's pause that there for a second. So, Jack, on opening the door, actually, on shutting the door, on closing yourself in there with it. So you don't need to make another will test because you already took another composure test because you've taken the will
Hmm.
damage from seeing the skull. Closing the door, you're going to take some damage from that, shutting yourself in the
Okay.
will with a skull. It's going to be 2d6, like take highest. Uh, so that is 4 points of health damage. It hurts and burns to be shut into that room with it. What do you
All
do?
right. Look at it and say, I need you to bring me something from hell that will allow me to take you with me as we leave here without taking further harm. I need a container that I can put you in that will keep both of us safe.
So there's this like language that is not in any way comprehensible to you that just pours constantly from the skull. And that is not interrupted as you say that. So it doesn't answer you in any direct way. Are you going to stay in the closet or are you getting out again?
Mm, there's a wealth of metaphor there. Uh, since I know the last time I opened the door, it that it harmed Owen, just gonna chill and see if wait for the skull to bring me this container.
I mean, it is like causing you physical pain to be in the closet with it. And if you do that, you're going to take more health damage. Like it's clear that you're like it's almost burning you.
So, how negative can I go on health?
So let me check. Um,
Don't you love the questions we ask in these games?
that's a great question. I don't know, my laptop's giving me some trouble. Uh, so between 0 and -6, uh, you're going to have the same effects as being under 0 in will, but that means you're going to get +1 to difficulty on all general ability tests, and that will stack from both the negative health and will.
Okay.
So +2 to all the difficulties. From -7 to -12, you're seriously injured. You can't fight. You've got to make a consciousness check to stay conscious. If you don't receive first aid, you'll continue to lose health. And if your health reaches -13, you lose consciousness and must cross out and deadlock one of your keys. If you have no keys left to deadlock, your character is retired from play.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stay in the closet.
All right. Um, okay. So outside, Owen, you definitely hear Jack scream, at least a little, like from the initial like pain of being in there. Um, Tobias looks nervously at the closet door and just says, I don't think he should be in there this long. Your friend is not going to be okay.
think she's trying to do something with language. Perhaps denaturalize it through the juxtaposition of language with everyday objects.
Man, you're a lot smarter than you look, no offense.
Hmm, you're not.
I sure am. Oh,
I walk over and give a knock at the door of the door.
okay. So Jack, sorry, Owen, it hurts to be close to the door, like not to the point that you'll take more damage, but it is like painful even to be in proximity to it. Um, Jack, I think you've been in there long enough that you're going to take another 2d6 take highest damage. Um, this time that is 6 points of damage.
All
Six
right,
points
so
of
that
health
takes me to
damage.
-5.
Yeah,
No
so you
big.
are hurting real bad now.
I'm
So
refreshing, by the way. Like I'm actually feeling a lot better.
I kind of weakly mumble, I'm okay. Just give me a minute. You may need to drag me out of here.
Uh, Tobias like looks at you and says, "You should drag him out of there. Nothing good is happening to him in that closet." Are
How
you
close is Jack
muted?
to dying?
Oh, okay. I guess you got a point.
I I sigh. He did say he's okay, but I'll open the door.
Don't open the door.
I close the door.
So wait, did you get the door open or
I'll
is
take
Jack like
one
trying
point
to
of health. Everyone in the
Sure.
room takes another point of health damage
All right.
as we play out this comedy routine.
Um, so can I just confirm that Jack's intention is to stay in there until either he loses consciousness or something arrives from hell?
That will allow me to put the skull in it and
Yeah.
make it safe for travel. Um, Barring anything unusual, yeah.
Barring anything unusual, I don't know what more unusual things you need. Okay. Well,
I
you
mean, it's
are
just a skull from hell and, a lot of pain. I mean,
all
I'm
right.
American. What else is new?
Well, you're going to take another 2 points of health damage.
Where else do you think the blues comes from, Shane, if not pain and hell?
All
Yep.
right.
I mean,
So,
one of my keys is Hellhound on my trail. Or, well, actually, no, that's Hellhounds on my trail. That's my drive, which, I'm pushing forward into danger due to my drive.
yep, that's great.
So that
Okay.
means I get to refresh a point of composure or will, my
Okay.
choice.
Well, you should
I think
really
it's
do that.
I think that's keys, isn't it?
I
Or
don't,
do
I'm not
drive
sure.
also do
That
that?
is
Oh yeah,
his
okay.
key or his drive,
I
yeah.
see. Yeah.
So that
Okay,
takes
never
me
mind.
to 0 will as opposed to -1.
Great. Well, that's good because you're about to maybe need that. Because when you drop to -7 or less in health,
Mhm.
you have to make a consciousness test, which is has a difficulty equal to, at this point, 7. It's like the sort of positive version of the negative value of your health.
Okay.
You can spend any combination of points from composure, health, and will on this test. But if you don't hit a 7, you're gonna lose consciousness.
Um, I can spend negative points, correct?
From health and will, you can.
From health and will, I can. And I
Uh,
have to beat a 7, you said.
yes.
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I will go ahead and go to -6 will
Hmm.
so that I can roll a 7, guaranteed.
Well, that's only going to give you a +5 to your roll, so it's not a guaranteed success. Isn't that right? Oh no, sorry,
Mm,
you went up to 0. Sorry, my mistake.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So let's see. I'm rolling d6
Hmm.
plus 6,
Yeah, that's
correct?
right. Hmm.
That's a 7.
Oh, that is as close to the line as it could be. Um, um, the so you maintain consciousness, but you're feeling bad physically, mentally, spiritually, and in every other conceivable way. Um,
I did not come here for a good time.
yeah. Um, let's see. I think, oh yeah, I think you just take some more damage. I mean, you're taking a lot of damage from standing around in this closet. Obviously, we're all clear on that. Um,
I mean,
all right.
who hasn't?
Oh, that's another
Look, this
four
is what
points of
happens when you
damage.
stay in the closet. You
All
wind up
right.
getting hurt.
That's another 4 points of damage to your health. That's going to take you to -11. That means you must now make an 11-point test to stay conscious. You can spend from health or will, or you can just concede and lose consciousness.
Um, so a quick question.
Hmm.
What happens if I go below 12 will?
So once you hit -13 in either health
Mhm.
or will, um, I think it means that you, hang on, let me just check. If your will reaches -13, it's the same for will or health. If either of them reaches -13, you lose consciousness and must cross out and deadlock one of your keys.
Okay. Uh, in that case, considering I'm at -11 on one stat and -6 on the other, uh, I think I will concede and pass out and hope that this skull comes back with some sort of carrying implement that Owen can stuff it into when he drags me out of the closet.
All right. So, Owen, you were right by the door, so you hear the sound of Jack collapsing inside.
Yeah, I turn to the other two in the room and say, you might want to leave. Because I mean, I have opened the door at this. We have opened the door and
Mhm.
given everyone in the room 3 points of damage at this point.
Um, so Johnny
I do
doesn't
not
seem
know
like
how healthy these people are.
Right. Johnny doesn't seem to have taken any. Johnny doesn't seem
Okay.
affected by the door opening.
Okay. Just
Um,
checking.
Tobias maybe is a little like inured to it at this point. He just sort of accepts that his eyes are going to bleed sometimes.
Yeah. I open the door again, take another point of damage.
Mhm. Drag Owen out. Sorry, drag Jack out. He's unconscious. You may want to give him first aid, but I reckon we're going to cut back to George at this point. Oh, actually, we're at the top of
Yeah.
the hour, so let's take a 5-minute break here, and then we'll find out what George has decided.
Sounds good.
I mean, if George was here, she could give him first aid. I
Okay. Yeah. All right. Back in 5. Well, I've heard from just about
I'm
everyone
back.
else. What are you reading at the moment, T?
What am I reading? Let me stand up slightly. Oh yeah, City of Stairs.
Oh, what's that?
Uh, it is the first in a trilogy of fantasy espionage slash murder mystery novels.
That sounds
A
good.
friend recommended it to me. It is. I am enjoying it so far. I think for the first 20 pages, I was like, I guess. And then they introduced a new character in relationship with somebody from her past who showed up, and I was like, oh no, yeah, okay, I'm 100% on board now. Uh, uh, so
Great.
yeah, I'm enjoying
Oh,
it. It's well
right,
written.
by Robert Jackson Bennett. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah, yeah.
read that. I liked his more recent Mr. Fantasy Mystery series though. I think it has a new one coming out soon. Starts
I
with
also
like
haven't read that one.
Yeah.
but the friend who recommended this one to me did say the other one was better. This is just the one I happened to find first, so take that as you will.
All right. Um, so George, what do you do?
Um, I don't think she's going to take the deal. Uh, oh, and I don't know what's going
Well,
to happen because
it,
she's not good at running.
in that case, uh, the man who's still inside your office will call out to the other one and say, "Uh, give her the name as well." And the one who's outside says, "Oh, all right. In addition to the book, we'll tell you the name of one of the children."
Oh, she's tempted. Uh, she is very tempted. And I think as she hesitates to remember how it felt to be there as Polly was raking Nellie over the coals and not to speak up and not to say anything and how it stuck in her craw. And she says, tempting, but I'm not biting.
All right. Well, I don't think we have anything more to offer you. Is there anything else that you would consider?
I mean, I don't have to publish a thing if she stops what she's doing, but I don't think that's to your taste.
Oh, we won't stop. She won't stop. She owes us and she must complete her service. There's no changing that. Uh, your publishing will not mean that nobody comes to her. Plenty that
I
you've
know,
debunked have still seen great crowds. But all right.
I know.
Uh, I'm sorry that we couldn't strike a deal. I hope that we can find a way to make you regret it. But we'll leave you alone for now.
I think she will, knowing it's, useless not to, kick at the chair and uh, move it so that she can open the door and say, if you'll get out of my office, I have some writing to do.
They both vanish without saying anything further.
And I think George will go to her filing cabinet, uh, pull out the emergency bourbon, close and lock the door for all the good that'll do her, and sit down at her typewriter. She's shaking visibly.
She can get to
And
work on her expose at least.
mhm. I'm giving myself a point of will because I think the girl's in danger. So, subtle clues have pointed that out to me.
hmm yeah, I think that was well earned. Um, the all right. Well, maybe we'll leave you there and we'll go back to Owen and Jack lying unconscious on the floor. Owen, it's probably only a minute or so after you dragged your unconscious companion out of the closet um, that there's a knock on the door again. And the door opens, and a young woman is standing at the door, and she's holding a sort of, essentially a head-shaped black iron box with a length of chain dangling off it. And Tobias will say to you, well, I guess that's what Jack asked it for.
Wonderful. And I pick up Jack over one shoulder
hmm
and take the box in the other.
Okay.
If I take the boat, will that pose a problem for either of you?
I mean, it's not ideal, but you're the one with the knife, right?
That is true. And I walk out.
The Johnny will say you don't want to know what that is.
No, what is?
The box.
I suspect knowing won't help me.
Um, so just to be clear, Jack ordered up something that you could put the skull into. Are you putting the skull
Oh yeah,
into it?
I thought the skull was in it. Sorry.
No.
No, I will put the skull into it and
All
take,
right.
I assume, another harm.
Well, you're going to take more than one harm for directly
Okay.
handling the skull. So it'll be the higher of 2d6.
Okay.
So that will be 4 points of health damage.
All right. Just
Um,
as a comparison between me and Jack, I am still at that was just I am still at one third of my health after
yeah,
having opened and closed the door multiple times.
and handled the skull.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good, but you're definitely doing better than still unconscious Jack. Um, all right. I just want to check what the mechanics are about being at negative health. Okay, so Jack will continue to lose a point of health every half hour. Um, I guess until he gets, it says until you do not receive first aid. I guess that means medical treatment of some kind. So you navigate the boat back to well, actually, well, yeah, I guess we didn't really establish this. You arrived during daylight, right? Because you could see to swim out to the shack. Um, I'll let you decide what time of day it is. Is it still daylight as you're like taking the boat back to shore?
I mean, oh, Jack was standing in that closet for quite a while.
I mean, not that long. Um, has it got so it's gotten dark?
Yeah, I think it has.
Okay. So you make it back to shore. You can load Jack into the car, but Jack is clearly in like a seriously bad way. You know, you've seen badly injured men in war, and Jack is clearly very badly injured. Um, you think that he needs medical attention fairly immediately, and that the hours long drive back to Oxford is you can't just yeah that he's not going to make it, or that he would yeah that he would struggle. On the other hand, you have a hell skull in a box.
Hmm. Let's see. I have Streetwise. Could I spend a point of that to know of a un of a what's the word? A Sawbones
Oh yeah, sure.
could take care of Jack.
Yeah, I mean, is it that you know one, or that you can just how to ask around and find one? But for sure, you can find someone who'll
Yeah,
like patch Jack up a little.
I'll spend a point for that. To get Jack a doctor.
All right. Um, so yeah, so I think that that means that Jack will regain, let's say that it regains Jack 2 points of health. Not that that helps him so much. Stabilizes him, brings him back to consciousness. Um, and yeah, he's stable enough to get back to Oxford. Um,
Did we get it,
prob
Owen?
Owen really considers saying like no, just because. Yes, you got it.
Outstanding. When I recover, I'm going to need a few moments with that thing.
Are you quite sure you want a few moments more. I'm not sure I'm not sure your constitution will be up to that.
Not today. Jesus. But there's something I need to ask for before I hand this back over. So, can you just stick me in some out of the way place where nobody will look for me once we get back? I don't want Frida tracking me down or Moses tracking me down. I'll give it to them. It's theirs as far as I'm concerned, but I just want to. Well, don't we all need something from hell every once in a while?
Sure, sure, Jack.
I'm going to sleep now. Why does it smell like burned meat?
Um, so you get back to Oxford, you stash Jack in whatever hidey hole he can lie low and recover in. Um, I think that, I mean, your abilities are going to refresh at the end of this session. I don't just want to go through the sort of comedy of Jack's health being smashed away again. So let's say that you recover enough that you can ask the skull for something else before you return it, or not return it, before you give it to Moses Sabini. What are you asking for?
I wanted to retrieve the contract for my soul.
Hmm.
I mean, it could have been bullshit, but just in case.
Yeah, okay. Um, hmm. I'm just thinking about what's the most interesting thing to do with this. Well,
What isn't interesting to do with this?
yeah.
Aren't all our souls interlinked to some point right now because of the original ritual we did?
Well, it's been a little unclear until this moment whether Jack in fact sold his soul to the devil previously or not. But I guess we need to establish it now. Um,
I don't know, it was the devil. Might have just been a devil. You know, there are many princes of hell.
all right. So I think a few minutes after you ask, and you're still in significant pain from having opened the box and exposed yourself to the skull again. Um, a young woman knocks at your door, and she's holding what appears to be a tube made of bone that's sealed at each end, and she holds it
Hmm,
out towards you.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Um, and she steps inside, sort of looks around, and says, "Can I stay here?"
I look her up and down and say, there's only the one bed. You're welcome, of course, but I would be rude if I did not mention that. I can, however, sleep on the couch.
Yeah, well, I can see that you're a gentleman, so I appreciate that. Uh, I'm pretty tired. I just came from hell, and she will lie down and see if she can get some sleep. Um,
And for my part, I will cast a ward on the door so that nothing coming from hell is going to get through it. Give
wait,
us both a chance to sleep.
is that something you can do? Cast a ward to stop anything from hell coming through sounds maybe above your pay grade right now.
You know, that is fair. That is fair. In that case, I probably just like pour some salt on the floor and pass
Sure.
out.
All right. Um, so there are a few things that we talked about at the start of the session that people were hoping to get to. Um, I have forgotten where I wrote my notes down for this. Does anyone want to remind me?
Yes, George wanted to
Yes, thank you.
figure out more about Lizzie was, and Owen wanted to talk to his communist contacts. And can I just say, I want that to happen first. I'm more curious about that.
Okay. So Owen, like, tell us about who, like, can you fill in some details about who you talked to about, what the party in Birmingham might know? Like, who's the contact in the party around Oxford who, I don't know if gives you instructions is the right word, but who, maybe you're a mentor or a leader or something like that.
Oh, let's see. Are there any Birmingham? Um, yeah, I think that I'm trying to remember what kind of industry Birmingham was tended to have. Um,
I think it was a pretty big industrial area. I'm not totally
no,
sure.
I know it was industrial. I was trying to think of like what kind of industry. Oh, this was actually during the period when the actual Peaky Blinders was also operating. That's unrelated.
Okay.
The very end. This was kind of the late period. Um, although I think we're in the 30s, right? Or
Hmm.
the 20s.
30s.
Yeah, the 30s. Okay. Yeah, so we're just past that. I think that yeah, I think that I know I know I have a contact who works on organizing in the factories, which I think is definitely like we're kind of approaching the slump of like the of kind of no longer having the wartime production demand,
Mhm.
right? And so I think that there's also like a lot of discontent over kind of falling employment.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
is
it's also been the
yeah,
Depression years, so
yeah,
there's definitely unemployment associated with that as well.
yeah.
What's the name of your contact?
Oh, fantasy name generators, real names.
There is an Edwardian name generator, which I've been making extensive use of. If you want to, I found that
Yeah,
quite
yeah, I
helpful.
have it right here.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, some of these are just silly. I do not think this person is called Ebenezer Rowe. Um,
Yeah, the first one I've got up is Timothy Putterfat, which didn't seem appropriate either.
what about Finlay Durling? That or Finlay Cook. That sounds appropriate. Finlay Cook.
All right. Um, and okay, so is this like a quick sort of recce visit to Birmingham to talk to him, or are you able to speak to him on a phone that someone has? Like, how do you contact
No,
him?
I think this is an actual visit. I think I've taken the train over to Birmingham
Hmm.
to ask around. Because it's a train right away. That's not
Yeah,
too much of a
yeah.
um I think I've taken him for a drink and we're discussing party matters. I'm also asking so and what was the thing we heard that what was the thing we heard
Yeah.
about Birmingham?
So
What was the
you
clue?
understand that there's a place of power specifically in Sutton Park, and yeah, the
Right.
image associated with it was a troll, and you found news reports that, oh sorry, I think that we found this. It's certainly in my notes. You found it by now or heard it by now. At least three men over the last year have been found dead in the park, apparently attacked by animals, although the
Hmm.
animals not identified.
Right. I guess I do ask. So what has been the word about these um dead men? It's not often that we have wild animal attacks in Birmingham. Is there a suspicion of factory owners or some other or the police or some other force at play here?
Um, he sort of looks around to make sure that nobody's eavesdropping, and he says, "That park, it's a place that men go to meet other men. I don't know about factory owners, but I worry that might be linked to the reasons for the attacks."
Mhm. I think that Owen does think of it on this, and all right. But what of and I kind of go, but well, in that case, if nothing, if what is going on then about and I kind of order another drink. What is going on then with the party here in Birmingham? How are things in terms of are you doing anything with the money I wired you?
So he'll tell you quite a bit about party activities. Some of it pretty boring. There's some exciting stuff happening with, especially organizing unemployed workers. That's pretty big for the party at the moment. But he'll also tell you that the local branch has two big problems at the moment. One, um, potentially linked to some of these attacks in Sutton Park, but he doesn't know, is that the England Proud, the fascist group, is quite strong here. It's drawing in a lot of the, discontent that the Depression has left behind. Um, and the other big problem is that there seem to be wreckers or saboteurs within the party itself, Trotskyites maybe, um, people who want to undermine all the good work that we're doing.
Pause and think. Do you have any suspicions of who those might be?
I have my suspicions, but only guesses. I don't mean any offense, Owen, but I know your reputation. I don't want to give you a man's name unless I'm sure.
Hey, you see, and this is where not having flirtation, that single point is uh of course.
I mean, you can intimidate him.
I'm sim I'm not gonna intimidate this guy. He's a friend. Um you gave me a you told me what I needed to know. I'll have a well, I'll have a look around the park if it's the place to go, like you say. Uh
All right.
and I pat him on the shoulder and down the drink and we go off.
All right. So Owen will certainly find a nice time for himself in the park. And I think
Yeah. You
we
see, Jack, Owen does drink just with people he likes.
Oof.
um but I think like when the group gets to Birmingham next week, you'll have a good sense of the layout of the park and be able to answer questions about that, but we won't play that out right now. Um, George, what are you doing to see what you see to look into Lizzie's disappearance?
Yeah. Uh, I think it's the next day. She's mailing her manuscript. Um, and I think she's also mailing a separate letter to Carrie. Uh, and it's double enveloped. And on the inner envelope, she says, "Open in case of my death." Um,
Well,
that basically is like, hey, magic's real. Sorry I lied to you, but also it's super dangerous and that's what killed me. Don't go poking your nose in.
amazing.
Uh, with more solemnity. But that's the gist. Um, and she has posted those, and she's going to go home and she is going to talk to her spirit guide. I think is probably the only thing she can think to do in this case. Um, yeah. And I think she is a little shaken to learn that her father approves of her working with Lizzie, um, but not so much that she's going to stop doing it. I'm going to the tab uh,
Are
to
you
read.
are you finding someone or checking whether someone is dead?
Yeah, I think she wants to know where she is.
Okay. So I just
Yeah.
want to flag. It says in the
Yes.
description of find someone, magical defenses may also increase the difficulty here. Um,
Hmm.
you assume that Lizzie Weiberg would have pretty formidable magical defenses against being located. Um,
Hmm.
the book gives the range of difficulties for this as being up to 30 for
Jiminy
someone
Cricket.
who's well guarded. Um, the Yeah, I think it makes sense that Lizzie must have at least enough magical defenses to make this a difficulty 15. I'm not sure how many points of glamour you have.
Not enough.
But mm,
But I am perfectly happy to play the scene out that she spends all the glamour and tries and learns nothing. I still think that's interesting.
yeah, I mean, yes, you just get the sense that your spirit guide has tried and failed and can't find her. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't know whether that means that she's nowhere to be found or whether your spirit guide just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we can see, um, like when she was talking with Nellie, George is frustrated that she is not better at this. I think she just returns to work because she still has a job to do. They expect her to do at least some research occasionally
All right.
with one eye over her shoulder.
Hmm. All right, cool. And Jack, are you gonna return the skull to Moses or give the skull to Moses?
So when I wake up the next morning, is that I guess courier from hell still there?
Hmm.
Well, is she still sleeping?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll put tea on, put a kettle on,
she'll
and just
start.
kind of
She'll start to
oh, go
wake
ahead.
up as you're moving around the apartment.
I'm making some tea. I understand it's the thing around here. I would rather make coffee, but the damnable Brits.
You're American, huh?
Uh, After a sort, I suppose I now need to say I'm a former American. Money troubles, you understand.
Yeah, well, about money, I'm gonna need some.
Uh, okay. For
Well, food, shelter, all the usual things. I've been away for
oh,
a while.
did hell release you to deliver this?
Uh, well, I'm not there now, right? I don't plan on going
Oh,
back.
well, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about when you woke up.
Hmm.
Uh, I, unless you were in a position of power there, I can't imagine you'd want to go back. So, how about this? Uh, you may stay at my You may stay here for as long as you need to. I will do my best to keep both of us fed. Uh, that's about the best I can do at the moment, barring suddenly becoming famous with my guitar, which, you know, this was supposed to accomplish, but instead, basically, what it made me is legendary amongst a certain group of people.
She looks
That did not,
suspicious and says, And what do you want from me?
nothing.
Nothing?
No, I'm freely offering this.
Hmm.
You brought me this. That, quite frankly, that deserves a few good turns.
Well, you drive a hard bargain, but I accept your terms.
I thought you might. Um, Tell me, what sort of skills do you have? Uh, I might be able to help you find some work depending on what type of work you did.
Um, okay. She says, I was a weaver.
Hmm, like of rugs at looms or
Yeah, looms.
and forgive me for asking an indelicate question, but how did you wind up in hell?
I think that's pretty rude, honestly.
I I understand that. I'm simply asking a direct question because you don't seem to be, well, you don't seem like you would end up in hell. You seem perfectly kind to me.
There's lots of kind people in hell. Plenty of reasons
I
people
see.
end up there.
I see. Um, and what's your name? I'm Jack.
Mona,
Myrna. I see. Well, Myrna, feel free to stay in bed. There's tea on. I have some business to attend to. I'll probably be back later in the afternoon or evening.
all right.
In the meantime, if I happen to run into any weavers, I will see what I can do about finding you some employment.
All right.
Do you
I
have any
love the
other skills
idea that
besides weaving?
I love the idea that Jack can get someone a job. He doesn't really seem the type to me. Um, are you gonna return the skull by yourself, or are you gonna try and get the others to come with you?
Hmm. It seems foolhardy to not have backup. I mean, a deal is a deal, as we know, breaking deals can have drastic consequences, particularly when dealing with such things as this. But I don't necessarily expect a mob boss to. I just want the security back. That's all. Mr. Sabini is a lovely person,
You don't think
but
that's true.
if I thought it was true, why would I be saying that I need backup? But he's a lovely person. You'll never hear me say a bad word about it,
Mhm.
nor will I say a bad word about Frida, because both of them could have me snuffed out in approximately the time that it took me to say this sentence. Lovely people.
Mhm. Um, so are you gonna take Owen? Are you gonna invite George? Who is coming for backup?
Um, that's a good question. I will invite anyone who wants to come, which at this point I hope includes Owen and I hope includes George.
I,
George doesn't know who Sabine is. She's never dealt with a uh, person in organized crime that she knows about. Um,
In that case, I'll just
like,
say it'll be good for your writing.
what do you think I write, Jack?
Penny Dreadfuls, of course.
Sorry, can I just interrupt for a sec? George will know who Moses Sabini is, not so much for his reputation as a feared crime lord, but for his
Mhm.
reputation as a occultist of some significance.
Oh, okay. Maybe then she would be interested in going. Yeah.
All right. Well, the three of you take this black iron box with a chain dangling off it to the place where you've been told to meet Moses Sabini. Um, he invites the three of you into his office. He is, gracious and happy to see you. Frida watches from the corner. On his desk is, it looks mostly like a shin bone, um, but it's got kind of odd growths on it, half an eyeball, three quarters of a mouth, um, quite unpleasant looking. Um, and he gestures at it as you come in and he says, "It's my son. You see what that fuck did to my son?"
Oh, abominable, atrocious, beastly.
Is that what I think it is? And he sort of gestures at the black iron box.
It is, but I would like to offer a few words of advice in terms of using.
I didn't. I've made a deal for you to deliver that to me. I'm not interested in your advice.
It will hurt you.
Yeah, it's an atlas of hell. What did you expect?
Just a
Uh,
word to the wise. There's a reason you may detect the faint odor of burnt meat.
um, Moses will turn to look at Owen and George and say, "Have you helped him with this? You have my gratitude."
Yes. How bandaged up is Jack, by the way?
I think
I
that's for
mean,
Puckett to answer.
I'm reasonably sure that the bandages are visible. They're not particularly well concealed. There's probably bandages on my hands. There's probably some bandages on my head.
I think George will give Owen a look but say nothing and follow his lead.
Mr. Sabini, I know how it is to lose someone, and I hope that
Don't, no, that's enough. I am not interested in having an emotional conversation with you. You've done a service to me. Your debts will be cancelled. I'll
as you
protect
say
you
then,
from those who wish you harm to the extent that I can. That's the end of our deal.
as you say. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Sabini.
He looks at Owen and George and says, "I hope he offered you something good for this. You did him a big favor. I didn't expect him to come back alive."
What's the old expression? God loves a drunk.
Well, someone has to.
And I'll flash
George
my
smiles
terribly
tightly.
winning smile. And just for grins, I'll wink at Frida.
Freda looks like she's annoyed that she hasn't murdered you already.
Fair. That's probably how most people deal with me.
Owen is about to say the same thing out loud.
Oh, and Mr. Sabini, do you happen to know of any positions for weavers?
Um, you can leave now. Uh, just watch out for the Pomegranate Lodge, is the last thing that he says to you as he closes the door firmly behind you. And I think that's where we're gonna leave it here for today. I will end the recording and we'll do stars and wishes.